Hey everybody, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you another Redstone tutorial. This time, what I got for you is a component that I didn't think I really needed to make. Just looking at it, you could probably figure out how to do it, but I decided to make it anyways. It's the temp storage for the binary sorter. So, let's take a look at what we got. I've got a copy of a binary sorter that I have in my realm, not the same way that I have it, but it's a copy of it. And I just extracted part of the temp storage, at least the components needed. This is set up in a specific section, which is determined by you. So, let's just take a look at what we got. It is this part right here, this line right here, is actually the corner of the sorter itself, of the chest hall itself. So this part tells what section is being used. And then, how do we determine what chest things go into? Well, that's what this barrel is. As you can see, I got 8 different items, from 0 to 7. And yes, I do recommend having them labeled that way because of how you have the chest organization set up. And counting in binary, you always start with 0 anyways. So that's how we organize them that way. And we have a way to activate just specific sections. So let's just take a look. Let's pick a slice. Let's go with this one, number 2. 2 from the end. Okay, so this is the one, and let's just say we want that number 0, 1, 2, 3, and we'll come over here, and I will throw a shulker box in. Now the system, you don't even have to do anything. You just throw it in the loading chest, and everything will load up, and the system does all the information. This is just the temp storage. Now, if we grab this, I said it was 3. 3. Okay, so I'll explain that I'll explain that column in a moment. And if we come in here, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Well, let's say we get another one. The exact same code, another one that is not complete. And there's one shulker box. Those are 2 shulker boxes. They will go to the merger and then back into the system. And then this gets shot out and sent into the system. This line right here gonna get placed right back into its slot here. Now, this bubble column leads all the way up to here, which will be the temp storage for the bits, the small little pieces. And all we're using is a 8-segment binary encoder, red coder, with an inverse. So it's just this 8 times. And then all we have to do is run rail. It's with this one, just pause the video, take a look. Those are droppers. And yeah, that's literally all we have to do for that. And each one will be powered via comparator, like everything else, for signal strength of 0 to 8. And that's an automatic thing. And 0 classifies as 1. See, here we go. Here it is. I just ended up weaseling it up just to make it fit right in there. Put it right there. And then this dropper, all you have to do is just send it right back into the line of the signal strength line, the part line afterwards. And I just got a redstone line that just takes everything and sends it back up, and then pulses an inverse pulse. It works, and it will only put one item in at a time because of how the system is set up. But this is the big part. This is the hard part. So, let me gather up all the stuff needed for it, and we're only going to build one slice and the brain for it. But the slices are all the same, so what you do one, you keep doing to the other one. So let me get that stuff together, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back, and like always, everything we need to build it is in the shulker box. But right now I'm only going to show you guys how to build the storage, the temp storage itself, not the connecting. So we got to get this temp storage built first. So the stone represents the chest hall. This is the very end of the chest hall. And this one is specifically designed to run off of mine. So, let's take a look at what we need. We need 7 different items renamed. They have 7 items renamed. I recommend getting like iron nuggets, gold nuggets, something cheap, something easy to get. Something to put it in, like a barrel. I don't recommend, you could use chests if you want, but I do recommend like a barrel because it's easier. 5 repeaters, 3 hoppers, 2 droppers, 2 observers. You could have some glass or even some slabs. The glass and the slabs are designed for, well, the glass is for the water containment. That's for water containment. 5 solid blocks to build with. 1 sticky piston. 2 transparent, at least one transparent block. I'm just going to use 2 because of design aesthetics. 1 piece of packed ice and 2 redstone torches. So let's grab all of this. And off of the chest hall, we are right next to the torch. We are going to place a solid block. Let's make it where it's closed. That system is not active. We will grab a repeater, place it down. We will take that and put a sticky piston going down with a block on its face and a torch on the side. Skipping a block, we are going to throw a repeater going into a solid block with, I'm just going to temporarily place that there. With a hopper going down. That hopper will be locked. We could throw our ice there. And we can throw our water control devices there. And that's set. So under here, we're going to wait. We're going to place our barrel underneath the hopper, and a hopper going down. We're going to put a block here with a torch on it. Here we need a transparent block with a repeater that will lock this hopper. And now we could come in here and we can go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We can leave those in there. Those are fine. And we can come down here because of making things easier. We'll place a observer with a repeater set on default going towards the channel, the water channel, towards the front of the build. We're going to have it with a dropper coming out the side and going towards the front. We'll grab another hopper and throw it there. Now what this does is allow the items to filter one in at a time into the dropper, shooting into this dropper, firing out. The delay on this is precise, so do not change the delay. So now what we need to do is come up here next to this one, the slab I got here. You need to place an observer pointing up. And we're just going to go down and throw a repeater going in the same direction as all the other repeaters. They're either going to the outside or towards our water stream, or towards our merger area. And that right there is the end of that part. So let me get the components set up for the counter, and then we will, and I'll add a few more of these just to make it easier for you guys to see. Actually, I'll probably just expand out the redstone just to make it a little easier for you guys. And we will set up for the counter. So give me a moment, I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and here's the shulker box that we need everything in. So let's take a look. But before I explain, the repeaters here represent that. Okay, we are going to be working on the back half where the control circuit goes. So what we're going to need is 2 barrels and a bunch of non-stackable items. In fact, you bring all but a barrel full of 2 of non-stackable. So that is 25 items, 25 non-stackable items. I just have them in a special barrel, and this is an empty one. 3 redstone blocks, a bunch of blocks to build with, 12 dust, 2 sticky pistons for observers, 13 comparators, 14 repeaters, and a trapdoor. So what we need to do is come on back here, and I'm just going to use slabs because that's what I was using here. From your last one, we're going to go out 2, and then we are going to go out 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. These ones get a repeater placed on them, leaving them at default, and this gets dust. Come up here, we're going to place a observer going up to take the last one. An observer on top of with the 1 block gap, but we're going to surround it with 2 pieces of 2 solid blocks. This one doesn't have to be, but that one has to be. And we're going to go away from the repeaters, and we're going to throw a door on the back side of that. Let's see here, we need an observer going down here with a repeater and solid block. In fact, actually, we need to move this one more over. It's 6, not 7. Because we're going to throw a solid block there, observer there, door. That will pulse it and allow things to process fairly well. Now, this observer here is because I was having a little bit trouble when it was on the very end here of spitting out the first item. So that's the sole purpose behind that. That doesn't need to be there. Okay, so now if we come back over here, if we look at this, we got a special clock. Yep, it's a pulse clock. I'll explain how it works in a moment. But we need to go out 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Dust. We're going to leave a gap. We're going to place a redstone block. You don't have to use a redstone block. You can actually go like this and put a torch down here if you want. But I'm using a redstone block. And we're going to put a sticky piston behind that. And behind the sticky piston, 1 block directly powering the sticky piston, we're going to place a repeater. Leave it on default. Getting powered by a block and going towards the back of the build. We're going to throw 2 pieces of dust on blocks. Blocks on top of that. Blocks on top of the repeater. Going back 2 more pieces of dust. And a total of 8 blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will go from here. Throw comparators going up and back, going into a solid block and a non-solid block, a solid block and a block down. If this gets a long pulse, it's going to become a decay, a pulse extender. But nice thing is, if we just send a quick pulse, it will count down every turn. So what we need now is over here a comparator and subtract mode, a comparator and subtract mode, 2 more blocks here, comparator, repeater. Put a block behind the repeater, put a barrel behind the comparator. I'm going to throw an observer here with a sticky piston on its face, pushing down the redstone block. We will put a solid block there, dust, redstone block behind this comparator, 2 more pieces of dust, 1 comparator going that way, 1 comparator going that way, this one on subtract mode with a barrel behind that. In fact, let me grab my special barrel, and I am going to pull 4 items out from this. You want it to look this full. You want 21 items, and come over here and 4 items. There we go. And now, if I take and I'm just going to get an item frame real fast. Where are they? There they are. And I need a good block for that, so okay, so now this is set to 1. Now if I place the block here, we get a single pulse. Now if I set this to 3, 0, 1, 2, which that would be 2, but the third one, break it, 1, 2, 3. And because this is not unlocked, no items will leave it. And as soon as I flip the lever here, I will be pulling items out, which then will be dropping them out from here. This is actually the easiest part because the rest of it is a lot of just redstone finagling. So give me a moment to get set up for that, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So let's get on to the circuitry that allows us to put the shulker boxes into the temp storage and put in the and pull the shulker boxes out. So this isn't in exact numbers because of how complex this part actually is, but we're going to need a bunch of packed ice, some water, 1 piece of soul sand, about 4 sticky pistons, 5 observers, bring a bunch of torches, comparators, dust. Bring about 4 repeaters at least. Might need a few more. A few slabs. Some droppers. 6-ish. A bunch of hoppers. Some glass. And a bunch of blocks to build with. Let's get all this out. Okay, now come down here to the end of this line. We're going to place a solid block. I'm going to be using slabs for this, and going towards our dropper line, we're going to take a repeater and put it on 4 ticks, and I'm going to use slabs for most of this part, a solid block at least right here. We will grab our dust and our comparators. 1 comparator going this way, 1 comparator going this way. And we will take and add a sticky piston here. And now we're going to need observers, sticky pistons, and solid blocks. We're going to be making a bunch of these, just like this. We'll make a total of 3. 2, And three. Now we will grab our repeaters, starting here. 3 ticks, 3 ticks, default with a torch on the end of it. Throw a sticky piston on top, and now we'll just grab our ice, and we're just going to run it back all the way under here. And then we'll just wall it off. I'm going to use glass for this. Okay, and get myself a bucket of water. Throw it right there. Now, to make things a little easier, I do recommend just getting yourself a stair and setting it like that, because that will cause the items to drop directly into the water. Now what this part does is times it just enough that while it keeps pulsing, items are going to cycle through, saying, okay, this one's going to stay extended until the last one gets pulsed out, and it gets pushed out from the hopper, and then gets dispensed out, and these will time it just right so that as soon as it reaches right here, this will retract, extend, and the item will fall into a hopper immediately. So we're going to put a hopper facing down. In fact, we actually need that hopper going to the side, just like that, going into a dropper. A hopper going down, and I'm going to just put a temporary block there, and a hopper going forward, just like this. We need to have a glass block here, glass or slab, it doesn't matter which one you use, with a comparator on top of that, going into a solid block, going onto slab or glass, doesn't matter which one, with dust on top of those, going into a torch. We're gonna, on this bottom one, we're going to place a solid block next to it, and doesn't matter if it's a solid block, whatever, and we're going to put a repeater. This is going to create a non-stackable filter, which means anytime we get a shulker box in here, it is now going to go through this part of the system versus going into this dropper. So I'm just going to put a solid block there, grab myself my observers, one observer going here, one observer going here, a comparator on top of that, on that observer, and a solid block with a piece of, here a soul sand will be. We need another one, and we'll just contain this in glass, and we will fill this up with water. This will go to that system right there, and that will control, and that will set up, and to control when it releases, you just put all you have to do is just put a piece of dust. Have to just power it right there. However you do that, it's up to you. Just know that that part is separate. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go out a few more blocks. We're going to take a slab, put one there, right above there, and yeah, we'll continue our glass. We will take a torch, place it here, Grab a solid block, put it on top of that, put a torch with a solid block on that and on its face. One over. Grab our dust, place it there. A 4-tick repeater going into a solid block, going up with a dust. A solid block. You don't have to use a solid block here, but we'll say place 2 more repeaters on 4 ticks. This one has to be a solid block. We'll throw another piece of packed ice there. Block off our water there, and we will throw a bucket of water right here, allowing items to flow. And we will grab our droppers, place a dropper here. We will encase this, and our water will be going into this section right here. Just need to go up to that point, get ourselves a hopper. Place a hopper in the back there. We need that one off and that one off and that one. We'll grab our sticky pistons, going up and up with a torch on this side. Packed ice and glass here. We'll just cover this in glass. There we go. We'll fill this up with water in a moment. But here's our input line. I recommend just taking a slab and throwing it here and here. Filling this in just to prevent items from falling out. Throw water there. However you get them from let's pop on over to the main storage, what I have built. From this bottom line here all the way to over here. As you can see, I'm using a dropper line. That works just as well. However you see to make it work will work for you. And that's what we want to do there. Okay, now we're going to continue. We're going to run ice all the way. And then I'm just going to grab some honey. Because honey's a good aligner. And we're just going to seal this up. There we go. Water source is everything. Sends it here. At some point, you'll have to put a pressure plate with a system to say, okay, this is now done processing. I will show how that's done, but not in this video. So now we need to get our droppers again. One below the glass, and one below the ice. We're going to place a dropper. I'm just busting that out so I can get out of there. And we're going to need to actually drop down a few more. Total of 3 blocks. And a total of 3 droppers. Take our soul sand and throw it right up here. And just fill this in to prevent any loss of shulker boxes. And run your hoppers all the way through there. Hence why the glass, at least right there, that is just for comfort right there to prevent anything from mixing together. Okay, solid block under there. We're going to put a temporary block right behind this one because we're going to throw an observer. You. Right there. We can put a block up and over there. There. Break that. Throw a repeater because we are just making a simple little clock to this. This clock works great for what I need, so this is for this. It's what I'm using. So yeah, make a simple clock to push items all the way up to the dropper. Okay, now there's that. That's going to pulse that when there's something in there, sending it up. Now, we need to start the system. We can take these ones out. So we'll place a glass block, solid block, whatever block you want. Just be able to place a comparator on it. Going into a solid block and run a line either with slime blocks, honey blocks, redstone, and sticky pistons, or repeaters and redstone dust, all the way to here. So I'm just gonna, and I recommend having it like this. Take a repeater and 3 ticks. And boop. Okay, so let me put that there. Oh yeah, we can fill this part up with water now. And if you don't feel like dealing with the water there, just get yourself something that will prevent the water from flowing, from bubbling. And just place it there. That will stop it, and the items will process and continue going through the entire system. So I'm just going to block this off. Take a slab. You there. Water. There. There we go. And now, like I said, all we have to do is just take this, put it all the way over to here, and that's good. However you do it, it's up to you though. But from here comes a little more complex. We need to add a dropper. We need our hoppers going in, going down, and going over. And throw one random item in. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter the signal strength. And then coming out of this bottom hopper, we're going to pull a comparator output. Going into a 2-tick repeater. Powering a block with a torch. And I'm just going to, we're going to build a very simple pulse extender. Not an etho hopper clock, but it is a pulse extender. Small, silent, can't have more than a full stack. No, can't have more than can't have more than a good stack. But we'll throw anywhere between 6 and 8 items. I'm throwing 8 in there, and we're going to go off of this hopper, powering a block. We're going to throw a comparator with a sticky piston, and we'll just grab either honey, slime, it doesn't matter, honestly. And I'm sorry I forgot to include some of these in there, but it's a big build. Well, I like to keep that there. Yeah, we need a solid block there. We can just, and I'll just throw a redstone block on top. However you power this is up to you. In fact, actually I could just go like boop, and 1, 2, 3. And that's powered, everything's powered. So if I, and then all we have to do is actually right here, about 3 blocks in, put a solid block, put a slab or something, water, you can adjust your water line as you need it. And then here, same thing. We're going to line this up, and about 3 blocks in, I'm just going to throw you there, and water. This thing goes to the merger, and this goes to the temp storage. So I'm just going to throw a shulker box in here, even though that I don't need to, and then manually trigger it. Okay, so we got this one. We have this set for there, so if I take a lever and flip it, come over here, we'll watch it as the last one just gets sucked in, gets shut up right there. And if we look in here, perfect. So let me grab this, and I will set another shulker box in. Flip the lever. Now this is after a while, and you end up getting more. Shulker box goes in. That one gets sucked in. These go. Shulker box goes 1, goes 2. And then we'll throw that in there, which will then go back into the system. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These get connected somewhere so that you can drop it out into this system to be able to finish up the processing. And this part gets connected down to this repeater. Like I did over here, I used a simple little torch tower to bring it on up, powering just that sticky piston to push it over, powering the entire system to set for the reset and activation of it. Whew. So that's all the components for the temp storage. That was a lot of work. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comment section. If it's a major issue, I recommend you join my Discord. Link to that will be in the description. I am streaming on Twitch. I stream regularly once a week at the moment. Information, link to that will be in the description. And if you want to support me, you can subscribe or join my Patreon. Link to that will be in the description. But you guys, this is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.